game's going to get a lot better. Like, he's only, 18 years old right now, right?
Yep.
18?
Turned 18 in December.
All right. So the thing is, most 18-year-olds don't play professional sports. Only basketball is the sport that an 18-year-old will step onto a professional situation. And LeBron James was 18 years old, I think, or 17 years old when he came into the league. I don't think Cooper Flagg's LeBron James by any means. I think that for Cooper, he would benefit from coming back one more season, refining his game a little bit more, and possibly maybe having a better chance at a better team. Because, people say, oh, well, the Wizards are going to be up there again. Maybe. I mean, they might hit on a player, and maybe they're better. We don't know. The NBA has a lot of influx the way they do their drafting. They don't get the worst team, doesn't get the best player. It's really a percentage. Like San Antonio had a 6% chance last year, got Wembanyama. So we don't know. Right. I think Cooper Flagg, if I'm Cooper Flagg, I would honestly wait till the lottery, see who's going to get the lottery pick, number one, and then decide if you're going to come back or not. Because if it's the Wizards or the Hornets, dude, I'm staying at Duke, and I'm trying to win a championship.
JTRAIN, what do you think?
I mean, if he waits the lottery every year, he may not never go to a team. I mean, I think, look, you got to come out at some point. And I think at 18 years old, you got Player of the Year. You just can't get any better than that. It's time to come out. If they allow you to come out, it's time to come out.
But do you think he's ready for the NBA?
He's going to get paid way more dollars than they're going to pay to keep him there. He's going to get paid way more money in a professional league where there's no rules. I mean, there's rules, but he's an adult. There's no holds bar. He's not in college anymore. And most of these kids are one and done unless they're trying to obviously there's no loyalty anymore. Forget basketball, forget sport. Younger people are more concerned with their time. And I'm not mad at them about it. I'm not mad at them about work-life balance or the loyalty factor. That's way back in the past, man. I mean, Michael Jordan stayed because he had to, because 3 years but he won a championship as a freshman. But he stayed because he had to. I mean, he stayed because they had a little bit more development back then, but they don't do that anymore. I think if the rules were changed, then I would like to see Cooper Flagg come back and play another year and try to right the ship and win a championship for Duke again. But it's not logically, it don't make any sense to stay. It doesn't make any sense. There's no way I would want to stay. I mean, I'm pretty sure his camp is telling him you need to go. I'm pretty sure his parents are telling him you should go. It's just, I think the only people who want him to stay is the school and fans.
4.8 NIL deal. I mean, I've asked every panel that I've met with this week about this. So, Mike, thanks for chiming in. Mike has chimed in both times and said he's going to come at Strilla. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, does this guy take the NIL deal and go on in the league and just gamble his chances with worst team or however they do it?
I mean, it's kind of a discussion we had like with the NFL draft. Quarterbacks want to go high, even though they ain't, I don't think the quarterbacks are exactly the best quarterbacks in this draft. But, however, if they have a chance to go high, that's a payday for them. Doesn't make a difference where they go. They want that money. And that's just true for all the athletes nowadays. It's money. Because it's, a lot of teams aren't showing that dedication to you as a player. You got to go out and get yours. That's what it's all about now. So I would think that he would want to stay for a year. I'm kind of mixed on that whole situation. I think he would want to stay for a year just to get, a chance to get another, a chance at another NCAA championship and run it back with a little bit more talented team. But in the second hand, you got to get that shmoney. When you get that shmoney.
I also think too. Go ahead, Sonia.
I'm sorry. He's got the 4.8 NIL that's going to continue with him. He got a New Balance endorsement. I think he actually had expressed interest in coming back before they even got to the championship. You know, he was quoted saying, I want to grab a comment, and then I get to you, Nate, in just a second. Yeah. What up, though, to 1A cheek and 3 toes? And Mike says, plus, if he stays in college, it gives scouts time to find your warts as a player, and the kid going to BYU next year is going to be the number 1 pick next year. Don't forget, guys, the Boozer brothers are coming too to college. Loyalty is a fallacy that we try to bring up all the time. The truth is, these programs, coaches, players only have one person to be loyal to, and that's themselves. Nate, do you agree with that?
No, I don't. I actually think that if Cooper Flagg it comes back, Cooper Flagg's going to be the number 1 pick. I'm not buying my stake on a guy who's going to play at BYU, because you're talking about a guy that plays at Duke compared to a guy that plays at BYU. Mm-hmm. I mean, the competition is just going to be greater at Duke. You know, BYU, I mean, they'll have some expectation, but I was surprised he even went to BYU. Like, that was surprising to me. Like, he's one of the best players. He should have gone like to a bigger blue blood school or something like that to get more limelight. But that's not
okay. So hold on, Nate. Who was the number 1 player for Duke that was a freshman that was dominant and he left? I mean, and he's having problems right now because of health. But
Zion Williams.
He left Duke. Zion Williamson.
Yep.
And he's a much better prospect than Flagg.
And you just
you
proved my point.
think he was a much better prospect than Cooper?
If he wasn't injury prone, this kid would be unstoppable.
That is what once you're injury prone, nothing else matters.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he's a much more dominant player.
You just proved my point. You just proved my point, because Zion, yes, you're right. Zion was really good coming out of Duke. There's no doubt about that. Yes, he had injury problems. Yes, he had weight problems. There's no doubt about that. The problem is he went to the wrong team. New Orleans Pelicans.
It doesn't matter.
Built, but listen,
if you're the best player, you're going to go to the wrong team. You can't get around that.
Yeah,
you can't get around that.
Okay, but look at his career now. We're questioning if
it doesn't matter. Anthony Davis went to the wrong team. Anthony Davis went to that same team, left that team, and won a championship with the Lakers. It's just going to happen.
Even if he goes next year and he's number 1 again, he's going to go to a bad team again.
Michael Jordan went to the Bulls that were horrible. It doesn't matter. You're going to go, if you're the best player, you're going to go to a bad team. That's just what it is. So you're a lottery pick. Yeah. How are you going to get around that?
Yes, Strilla, what are your thoughts? How are you weighing in on this one?
So I'll tell you the reason why Zion went after he went 1 year, right? And then he came out and he was good. His contract is $197 million. That is the reason why he went into the NBA.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not making NIL money after that, buddy. So I mean, it's unfortunately in this day and time, this isn't the 90s or the early 2000s where players have a dedication to the college team that they're going, and of course the rules have changed in the NBA. So money is more lucrative to a young player than staying in a college for more time. Not saying that Cooper Flagg couldn't make a decision and stay. He could. That's a possibility.
I don't think money's an issue with him. I really don't.
I mean, money's an issue with everybody, let me tell you. Okay?
I think it's more about winning. But
Nate, the world we live in today, it's just not – I like what you're saying. I get it. I understand that, but
I mean, think about
how businesses work. What's loyalty for a player? If you know you're great, you have an opportunity to move better and take care of your family. What if he gets injured? What's going to happen with the school? Are they going to keep him with a scholarship, or are they going to take care of him and let him get a 4 year?
That's why you sign a huge insurance policy, and he's going to do. He already has one already.
Yes, but I mean, I'm just saying.
He could blow his knee.
Hopefully, you don't have to go to the insurance route. You go the direction that leads you to say, okay, it's time to move forward. I've done everything I could here. Let's move to the next step.
Let's just put it this. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nate, and then I'm going to grab these comments that are coming in.
I want him to take a stand and set the standard going forward that, hey, I'm one of the best players. And you know what? I could use work on my game, because he didn't finish what he started. And that is enough meat on the bone for him to consider going back. If he would have won, yes, 100%. He's gone. He's done. But the fact that he came so close and the ball was in his hands to win the game and the dude came up short, that gives some drive to come back, and they're going to have a stacked team. But the thing is, I'm tired of seeing these 18-year-olds go to the NBA and fall flat on their face. I'm tired of it.
I mean, at least they have the money, though. That's what Mike is saying. Like, no one cares about getting better. No one cares about getting better in college. They only care about the money.
Nate, when you say take a stand, that's an exception. That's not the rule. I'm just telling you right now, brother.
I know.
The money is going to rule out. Everybody's going to go to the money. You might have that one kid say, hey, I like to stay here. He's not going to change anybody else's mind. Everybody's going to the money.
Hello to Matt Yenzer. Thank you for joining us, Robbie DeFeo. Mike has a bunch of comments. He talks to scouts. Basically, he's like, listen, this kid is going.
When he does, I want to hear from you, Mike. Straight up. And he does, I want you to eat crow.
Yep. And Mike says you're living in a fantasy land if you think he's coming back. I think this is a personal issue you have and not the reality of what it is. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, Mike. Well,
I think to Nate's benefit, I think it is a partial fan view because he just said he's sick of seeing people coming into NBA on bad teams and good players. So that's partially a personal view.
These players aren't ready. They're not ready. They're not ready for the NBA. They need to be in college a little bit longer.
But then they need to change the rules. It can't be based on the player. The players aren't gonna. They're gonna do what you give them. They're gonna if you allow them to go early. Let's be empathetic here. Let's put yourself in the shoes of a player when the money and everything's available to you, and you're young. How old are you, Nate? How old are you?
38.
Huh?
38.
He said he a 38 special.
Yes. These guys are 18, 19. You're telling the 18-year-old, 19-year-old to stay in school? They don't want to stay in school. They want to go and live that life.
Thank you so much, Robbie.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right, guys.
I'm just saying like this. Nate, you're talking about insurance policies. I think Zion is comfortable with a $197 million insurance policy. I'm just saying it may not be for the right reasons that you want it to be, and I understand that sometimes, we want players to be like a movie. You know what I'm saying? They stay with the college. They stay there for 3 years. They come out. They have an illustrious NBA career. But how many times does that happen, especially now? That might happen in the 90s and the 80s, but that don't happen now just because of the rules that are set.
NILs, right. You're getting money early.
It's not you. It's the victim of what the NBA has become. It's the victim of what the NFL has become. It's just it's screwed, to tell you.
Well, the NIL.
I'm with you on that.
The NBA is kind of an outlier. The NIL is keeping players in college football.
All right, Nate, this question is for you. So if this is your kid, and this is a legit question, if this is your kid, do you tell him to go ahead and, get his money or come back to college and just for a championship?
I mean, honestly, like that, if my kid's Cooper Flag, I want him to do whatever he feels is right for himself. I'm not going to dictate anything in his life. That's his own choice and what he decides to do. But I will say this, son, you better kick some butt in the league because you very well could be out of the league after your first contract. And that's the problem with a lot of these 18 years old. They get their first big contract and then they become nothing.
But at the same time, if they're in college and they get this season-ending and career-ending injury, then you never know what they could have made. You can, we grew up in an era where we're like, finish school so you always have something to fall back on. Now you got online, everything. You see Steph Curry. Anybody can always come back and get their degree later. If they're a bust, they're going to be a bust whether they're in the league or whether they're in college. The decline is real. And if they're not mentally mature, I think it comes down to the mental maturation of the player. If he's mature enough to handle what the NBA brings and he matches the physicality, then let him go into the league. If he's not, if there's a hint of immaturity there, that he's just not mentally grown up enough to be with grown men and play the sport, like same thing with WNBA, then stay in college.
Yeah.
I think there should be
part of the sport.
I think there should be a happy medium. Like I do some parts of what you're saying, Nate, I agree. as far as like a lot of young kids coming in immature, they're not ready for it. Maybe add one more season, maybe 2 seasons. 2 seasons. I think that'd be sufficient because it used to be you had to be a junior to come out, and
that's what I thought.
rough.
I was like, whoa.
There's a lot of now that we know so much about the NIL and what it can do, they need to make a lot of adjustments to that. A lot of adjustmes to the NIL.
And I think they will.
Really
I think they will, because if all these players keep leaving after their first year, it's bad for college basketball. Because a lot of these teams aren't like Duke. They're not going to be able to recruit 5-star players right after another. So they're going to do something about it. It's just a matter of time.
I mean, now you know why Nick Saban bowed out with Alabama, because this NIL thing is out of control. It's no cap limit to how much they're getting. It's super competitive. And it does, I mean, in my opinion, it may bring morale down in the locker room. I mean, college is still supposed to have some type of elements of fun to it, and it seems like it's just a junior NFL already. Like you're basically in college on the middle school level, and when you get to high school, you're already in the college level, and then you're in the NFL when you're in college, because you're already advanced based on your skill set.
Yeah, I think what it is.
I'm a little torn with Nick Saban. Nick Saban dominated the SEC and the NCAA for a long time. He had an ironclad fist, and when NIL came, that began to unravel a little bit.
Yes.
And I think he knew that he couldn't fuss at people like he used to, because the transfer portal, people like, okay, you going at me like this? Bye. I'm going.
Right.
And
that's the other part. And that's the other part of NIL with college football that needs to change too. Stop this. Okay, well, I can't be what I want to be, so I'm going to go to another team to be what I want to be, and keep doing that until you find a spot. Dude.
Yeah, it's like I'm taking my toys off the playground. I'm going home.
If you're not a good, say you're a running back and you're sitting for a first string running back, you say, I don't want to sit behind him because I think I'm a better running back. When in the truth, there's a reason why you're sitting behind that running back, because you're not that good. Now, if you want to go to a AA school, yeah, you could do that. But I don't think you should be able to transfer to another Division I school because you can't do it in the division. That's chicken.
I got to
work at it.
And you can keep that situation, but the team that's trying to get you has to buy you out, because that would put money back into the team that you're leaving, and you're going to get the player you want. So it's a win-win for both sides. Not this, I'm going to dip and then go somewhere else and screw the other team, and then all these other guys are going to follow. Because, don't get me started with the coaches. When you lose a coach, all your players leave, and you're left with nothing.
And they follow you're left to the next school.
The bottom up. Yeah, that's got to stop too.
And I think they should bind a contract to these players for at least 2 years, to where you can't just jump ship and leave to another school, especially if you're paying them money.
Or limit the transfer of.
Yeah, I
mean, lawsuits that's in court
there's no sense of discipline with that. Robbie says he's against college making money. I mean, I think they should make some, but I think it's gotten astronomical. Yeah. It's gotten astronomical though. They should not be making. They should not be making whole career money out there. Let's be clear.
I disagree with that too.
I don't think
that too. The only reason why I disagree with that is because let's speak specifically about where the majority of money is generated. We're talking about football.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the money that from football used to pay for scholarships for other sports. Mm-hmm. We're talking about volleyball. We're talking about baseball, tennis, track. It came football hand over fist, making tons of money. I mean, you know how much money it costs to go to a football game, college? It's expensive, very expensive. And let's give you an example. Todd Gurley.
Yep.
He sold a signed autographed jersey to somebody, and he got suspended or something like that for it. And look, he's just trying to make money off of his likeness, but he couldn't do it because he's considered an amateur. Yeah. That rule was bogus from all that time. People are smart. Yeah. You know what to do. I mean, it's called. I don't even want to say it on air what that's called.
I'm just going to say this. And what's up, Pink Fanfare? Thank you. She says she agrees with you, JTRAIN. I agree kind of with Robbie, though. Let me be honest. He says it's like giving young college players feeds more into their egos and they become more cocky with a poor attitude. I think there's a median. I don't think they should be making millions of dollars. I just don't think that. I think they should be compensated appropriately. It's the same equivalent as giving somebody a full scholarship. I
gotta disagree with the man what he said there, because it's entertainment.
Yeah,
it's driven on what you watch. You're watching the sport. Millions of people are watching it.
Does he have to have $1 million contract?
But it's not going to be $1 million.
Okay.
It's not.
Let me break it down.
What is the org? What? How much revenue is being made on the organization itself?
Bam.
Yeah. Then if that's the case, if you're doing
billions.
They're distributed equally then. Some players are not getting anything.
If everybody's going to get fat, the players should get fat. Period.
Every player is what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. Is this happening? It's going to happen. Like if you follow
but now, it's just individual players.
But if you follow the lawsuit that's going in court right now,
right,
is to fight for salaries for players.
That's what I'm in agreement with.
I disagree with that too, because once you open that Pandora's box, you're gonna start going. Once you open that Pandora's box, you're gonna start superseding and bringing that into the NFL or into bigger leagues where you have to balance money.
Hang on, guys. Hang on. Let me just finish my thought, please. So I'm just saying this. If I'm on the team with Shedeur Sanders and my performance is not on Shedeur Sanders' level, I'm not getting anything right now. The lawsuit is saying I should get at least something. If you guys are saying these organizations are getting money from concession stands, from ticket sales, now they're selling alcohol, etc. I think that even though you may have some players paid a little more, you should equally distribute it to other players too who may not be performing as high. As long as they're on that field, or even for that matter, part of the team, everybody should be getting something.
No, I agree. There should be a base pay for people for whatever level of play you get, but you can't. There's no way. Why would I want to race? Let's just say, I'm not going to have equal share pay. Why would I want to run a race and work hard and I'm more talented than everybody in the race and everybody gets first place? That doesn't make any sense to me.
That. You should get more.
I agree. Okay.
Shedeur, you should get more, but I'm saying everybody should get something. If Shedeur got $1 million, give somebody, I don't know, 50,000. That's not as good.
I think there's a reason why you're seeing a lot of these big college teams hiring GMs who are actually NBA players, because they know how kind of contracts work and they kind of know what it's like to have a contract. And I think you're going to start seeing a shift where these GMs are going to give contracts to these players. Whatever certain rules.
Says they're sacrificing their bodies and their time and work that they put in, so they should get paid.
So it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to shift similar to what the NBA is doing, and it should be good because it's going to prepare them for going into the NBA and handling money like that. So they're not deer in the headlights when they get a big $1 million contract and they don't know what the hell to do with it.
Yeah, guys. So let's move on. We are literally halfway through the show, and we spent the whole half of the show talking about.
All right, it's a good debate.
We appreciate all the comments, likes, loves, and engagement.
Stupid NIL.
Let's talk about the big news. JTRAIN looks like Derek Carr, you guys, as quarterback. Now, there's been smoke around the Saints possibly taking Shedeur Sanders if he falls to number 9, or in fact, Pittsburgh may be trying to trade up to try to get that number 9 spot to grab Shedeur. But now it looks like New Orleans may be in a position that they need a quarterback. After all, Derek Carr coming out today, possibly having a shoulder surgery that could put him out for the season before it even starts. JTRAIN, that's your team.
Yeah, Sonja, I've heard a lot of pundits today. When I heard this, I was shocked, but I wasn't shocked. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr probably knew. And I think the Saints and Derek Carr knew this injury was there, because when you go back and you see Derek Carr, there were some rumors that were put out there that Derek Carr wanted a trade. He wanted out of New Orleans.
Yep.
And so with that said, I'm like, well, why don't they give that to him? But I got why they wouldn't give it to him now, because it's probably because of the injury. Nobody's going to bite on it. Or pause. Nobody's going to want to trade for somebody that's damaged goods, especially at $40 million a year. So with that said, they have to wait, and they just put it out just now because OTAs are coming up, the draft's coming up, so they got to put it out there. He won't be able to practice or anything like that. So it had to be news, but they all knew this already. This happened a while back, and so now he's contemplating having surgery, and if he has surgery, he's likely to be out for the full season. And the question is whether or not you're going to go with the guy that's in your own backyard, Spencer Rattler, or you're going to draft another quarterback because they have Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner that would be your number 1 and number 2, or you go and get a quarterback, or you make a run for Aaron Rodgers. I heard that might be an option. I wouldn't want to do that, but I mean, I'm not saying that they wouldn't do it.
Talk about
and also the draft, like you mentioned, Sonja. They got the number 9 pick. They can get a quarterback at that era, but the question is, do you want to pick a quarterback at number 9? If Shedeur Sanders fall, I would definitely pick Shedeur Sanders. I like Shedeur Sanders. I like his play, and I think he has what it takes, the moxie, and he has the skill to be a franchise quarterback. And I think him and Kellen Moore would be great together. Obviously, I think he would. You saw what he did for my man, what's his name, Jalen Hurts, with them winning the Super Bowl. Even though he didn't throw the ball a lot, I think he has what it takes to have a successful offense, to let a quarterback thrive, such as Shedeur Sanders thrive in. But I just think at that right now, if he doesn't fall to them, they shouldn't reach. They shouldn't go up and try to move up and try to get a quarterback. If anything, go ahead and collect more picks, like you said. If someone like the Steelers, a team like the Steelers, are looking to move up, go ahead and get a ransom, because that's a big difference between the two drafts, 9 and 21.
I mean, let's be clear. Yeah. Go ahead, JTRAIN. I'm sorry.
No, I'd take Sanders if he was there.
Let's be clear. Carr has been injured anyway. He missed 7 games last season from an oblique and a hand injury, and now he's got this shoulder injury. I've had shoulder surgery, and I'm assuming this is his throwing arm. I can't even imagine. To this day, I have problems out of my shoulder, and that surgery was 4 years ago. And I'm sitting here with an electric blanket on it right now, because it aches. It's colder here in Atlanta today, and it aches. So I can imagine, him in that type of sport where you need your shoulder. Your shoulder is your moneymaker. That's your play. Even if it's the other shoulder, it's still going to affect his balance and how he throws, et cetera, et cetera. I do want to talk about this because we want to make sure we squeeze in this whole production that Pat McAfee did, like this whole interest to heaven party that he did for clickbait on Wednesday. And you brought up Aaron Rodgers possibly going to the Saints. Now, I don't even want to say it out loud to put it in the energy, because no one wants that pansy. But I mean, I know Nate and Strilla, you guys got some hone in on this Derek Carr situation. So I'm going to sit back and let you guys talk, and then we'll wrap it on up with the Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah, just real quick with Derek Carr, I think a divorce is coming. I think we kind of knew this already. I mean, 2 weeks before the draft, this all comes out. This is his agent basically trying to push Carr out of New Orleans, even with the injury. Like, he's going to play. He's not going to play all year. Okay, he's going to sit out. My client's going to sit out, and then he's going to want to go somewhere else. And this has Shedeur Sanders written all over it. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire. And the Saints should turn that card in quicker than anything. If Shedeur is there at 9, don't even think about it. If you want to start Rattler, cool, start Rattler. Who cares? I mean, Rattler is not the future of the New Orleans Saints, but let Shedeur sit behind Rattler. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, hey, let him develop, let him be ready. And you got Kellen Moore behind the scenes, a really good offensive coordinator, worked with Jalen Hurts, has worked with Dak Prescott. He's had success with young quarterbacks. Let him get his hands on Shedeur for a whole year. And if Rattler stinks it up, great. Shedeur will be a starter next year. I think it's a no-brainer.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think this whole draft is going to be just bonkers. I know that's a hell of a name, bonkers, but it's going to be like that. I just really think that everybody's making these mock drafts, their mock drafts are going to be all shattered. I think teams are just going to go bananas out there. I wouldn't be surprised if New Orleans would move up and get Shedeur, to tell you the truth. I mean, you say no, but anything is possible in this draft. I'm telling you right now.
You would trade up for Shedeur? I wouldn't. I'd let him
I wouldn't personally. But if you're a franchise after you have one of your main guys go down, that might be in your best interest, because you don't want nobody else to snatch that guy. You only got really two good quarterbacks that are coming out of the draft that should even be mentioned, to tell you the truth. I don't even consider either one of them first-round picks, but because of the hype that they're getting, and you got really non-limited people in this draft that are like starters, maybe the top 16 people, if that. I can see Cam dropping. I'm serious. I can see Cam dropping. So I mean, this draft is going to be so funny. You keep shaking your head, man. This is the draft.
I'm telling you, put the money.
All kinds of crazy stuff happens in the draft.
Cam would have dropped. Cam would have dropped if Abdul Carter did some pro day or combine,
or he wasn't hurt.
He would have dropped. I think Abdul Carter would have went number 1 overall had he just shown that he was healthy.
I think there's a lot of negativity surrounding Shedeur right now, and nobody wants to touch him. So the only team I'm hearing that has any interest in him, truthfully, is the Saints.
I mean, I think he's kind of bounced it back. He's kind of come back from that. Him and his dad have, been more gracious, and teams have kind of backed off of that a little bit. He did his pro day, so he's been more, trying to do damage control. So I don't think he has the negative narrative that he had a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I could be wrong, but
I think a lot of it was cleared up that arrogance was misconstrued when it really should have been just confidence.
It's a thin line.
It's a thin line, but I heard some former NFL players.
Be cockiness. You can't ever celebrate yourself.
I heard former NFL players get on TV and said almost all quarterbacks are arrogant to some degree.
Exactly.
And some of them just may not tell you, but they'll tell you to your face on the field. They won't tell the media that, but they'll tell you that to your face. Because, I mean, think about it. You have to have some level of moxie, what they like to call moxie. It's really borderline confidence, borderline arrogance. Because somebody's trying to take your head off. You better be super confident in what you're doing and playing that game at that position. Smart, everything. And when you're successful at it, at that position, at work, guys that are like 6'6", 6'4", 6'5", 260, 300 pounds in the middle coming in to take you out, and they can't because you're standing there taking a hit, throwing a 60-yard bomb touchdown. Yeah, I think I might have a little bit of that arrogance too.
Can I say one last thing? If his last name wasn't Sanders, this would not even be a debate.
That's what
the reality is, and I hate to say this because I love Deion. I think Deion's a hell of a player. I love his moxie. I love his personality. There are some owners out there, because of Deion, they don't like Deion. And they don't want anything to do with Deion or his son. Let's just call it what it is. They don't want anything to do with Deion. You either like him or you love him. Yeah. That's what it is.
I don't know. I mean, y'all probably know. Everybody probably thinks I'm a Deion hater. I'm not really a Deion hater. I just didn't like how he went to Colorado and it just turned into a rap concert. I felt like you're new there. Establish your wins first. Just because they started celebrating with their second win because they had gotten one additional win in the previous season. And everybody had a Colorado jersey on. I'm like, now we know that, marijuana is legal out there. So some of those rappers probably had been there before just for that purpose. But y'all ain't never been on the campus before. Everybody's running behind Prime and all this stuff. And, now this second
season, it's Deion, man.
Yeah,
Deion. That's what he is. The gold whistle. Come on. The shades. Come on.
Sonja, you got it. Look, let me tell you, I grew up in the 90s. I was a high school kid. I love football. Deion was my dude. I was doing a dance everywhere I was. Play good. Must be the money, everything. And Deion is just my dude, man. I just hard and so one thing about Deion, he is who he is. He's unapologetically him, and he's always been that. And so the whole thing is, I wouldn't surprise with Colorado because that's just he's always been that. That's just been him.
He sold me this year when they did better. But I'm saying in the position around children, basically, because these are young men that are coming into their own as young adults. I don't think it was a proper example. You're not playing you're not coaching an NFL team with grown men. You are coaching impressionable young men who do not have the balance on whether to look at a playbook or to shop their merch. Tom Brady had to get on Shedeur. Like that right there was evident. Oregon's coach, Lanning, said it best. Clicks and freaking likes. Once he said that, it made sense. I'm like, that's exactly what it is. It's the freaking Deion show. And, you're using your sons to recreate your life all over again. And those guys were not ready to handle that. They were not on the level Deion was from day one. They have to get to that. Now they're a little closer this year, but now they're in the league. So that's why people, they never got over that. That bad taste is still in their mouth because, when Deion was at Jackson, humble. Everybody was rooting for him. Jackson couldn't afford to pay him. They're mostly minority. He exposed how they were impoverished down in that area. Everybody was rooting for Deion. It's almost like as soon as he got to Colorado, a boulder, no pun intended, was dropped on his head.
Let me say this about that. Deion said when primetime came, when he was a football player, first of all, when he got drafted, he saw that cornerbacks did not make any money at all. So he created the persona primetime. He created that persona.
Yep.
Most times, Deion Sanders is a quiet dude outside of football, and most people will tell you that. But I'm pretty sure the same thing happened when he went to Colorado. Colorado had no success whatsoever before they got there. Weren't they like 1-12 or 1-14?
Yeah, they were terrible. And in the first season he got there, they won 2 games or maybe 3.
And the money that he was offered was little. I mean, in comparison to any college coach there, it wasn't that much at all. He got like a 5-year, $25 million or $28 million deal, something like that. Wasn't a lot at all. And so I can see why he did the same thing again. That's just Deion. He's a marketer. That's just always been him.
He's so much a marketer that he was dating Tracy Edmonds for a long time, Babyface's ex-wife. Everybody loved him. They're not together anymore. Okay. She got sick of that ish. Okay. She got sick of that mess. She sees that.
And he found another woman. He's good.
No, not yet. Nuh-uh. Pilar, his ex-wife, be out there showing up with the kids.
First of all,
he don't have nothing to do with them.
Leave Deion alone. The point is not about Deion. Okay, Deion is Deion. Deion marketed himself. He did what he had to do to make it through his NFL career, and he just happened to be a Hall of Fame player at the same time. Okay, so that's not the situation I have at hand. That I disagree with what he does. I think what I disagree with is that he's putting his sons on that same pedestal.
Thank you.
And they don't have none of the talent that his father has.
That's all I'm
saying. Neither one of his sons. I'm sorry. They
don't.
don't. It's like the LeBron thing. You don't. Your son has no talent that you have. I know you're trying to pump him up because that's your boy, and I understand.
I understand. I gotta chime in on that. I gotta rebuttal that. When he said none of the sons, I'm not. Look, first of all, that's a bad comparison. You should only compare one of the sons because they played the same position. The other son plays quarterback. And if I had to compare him to other quarterbacks, he's probably the best quarterback in the draft, in my humble opinion. In my honest opinion, he's the best quarterback in the draft. The most accurate one. Okay. And had a terrible line and still threw for 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions.
And that's college.
So he's talented somewhere. He's just not a DB.
That's college. Anyway, the point of the matter I'm trying to make is that he's making his son to be that Hall of Famer. He might be, but when Deion came into the league, I knew I knew he was going to be whatever shenanigans he was doing. I knew that guy was going to be good. I knew he was going to be good. I can't see the same thing in Shedeur. I just can't. I can't see it.
Let me tell you this. Nobody saw Tom Brady like that either. That's why he dropped to the 6th round.
I did.
Well, you're the only one, sir. You're a Michigan fan, too.
That's right. I saw what the hell he could do in Michigan. You know how many times he led comeback from behind wins in those times at Michigan when he wasn't the starting quarterback?
You can't say that he was going to win all those Super Bowls either. You can't say that.
I didn't say that either. I didn't say
Terrell Davis. I couldn't see Terrell Davis as a Hall of Fame running back, 2,000-yard MVP. He was a 5th-round draft pick coming out of Georgia. I didn't know he was going to be that good.
I mean, they're his
some
sons.
people have that it factor.
I didn't know Shannon Sharp was going to be that good.
Yeah. Also, too, they're his sons, man. What do you expect him to say? Like, my God, if those are your sons, are you going to say, "Oh, these guys suck"? Don't draft them. You know, they're my sons. He's going to put them as pedestal as high as possible and let the people tear them down. You know, like he's probably telling them right now, like, hey, I'm going to put you up here and let them bring you down. Let them try to bring you down, but I'm going to put you up here and you do your thing. And if you do your thing, you're going to stay there. If you don't, they're going to bring you down like whatever.
One thing I do have, so one thing I do have is respect. He's a father trying to make sure his sons are doing the best they can for life. I don't know if it's for football, because I mean, clearly Shiloh is not that dude. He's going to be an undrafted free agent going into the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't have no problem about them being that father. Okay, because obviously we've seen that from it's just expectations for kids, and they're looking up to their dads. It's a hard thing. I see all the time with fathers that aren't even on Deion's, but they're successful fathers, and they expect their sons to be on that level too. And their sons sometimes can't compete on that level because they're not that individual. They're good individuals, just as not their dad's individual. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing I have a problem with. I have no problem with him being a father and trying to wish the best for his kids and trying to put his kids in a successful environment. But if a kid doesn't, I mean, to me, Shadur probably handles it a lot better than Shiloh does. Most definitely. I think Shiloh's not the one either. But Sanders probably has a better. Shadur has probably a better path in his career than Shiloh does. So I mean,
he probably pays for his cars and house.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not filing for bankruptcy with $12 million in debt. By the way, Mercedes-Benz did drop their lawsuit. I guess they're going to let him include the car in the bankruptcy. Let's be clear. It's still a bankruptcy. He's still not going to pay for the car. They're going to allow it to be included now, since Deion came out and said it was all bull jive and all this stuff. Like he gave
him a signed autograph or something. They say, okay, we're good.
Yeah, let's move forward, guys. We can literally this time be running by. We gave way too much time to Cooper Flag, but shout out to Duke. Yay, all day, every day.
I complain about that.
Okay.
Yes. So Joey Flacco is back in the league again. He has signed a 1-year deal with Cleveland. You know, we've been talking about what are they going to do up there with Deshaun Watson. We saw Joe Flacco come in and relieve Cleveland a couple of years ago and really make them solid for a playoff push. But y'all remember Kirk Cousins was up there a couple of weeks ago shopping himself, trying to get signed. And so my question is, what does this say about Kirk Cousins? Of course, Atlanta went ahead and paid that extra $10 million by March 11th, and they just want him to sit. Thoughts are for 2 reasons. Number one, they paid so much that another team is not going to match that money to even pick up Kirk's contract. And number 2, let's be clear, Michael Penix Jr. came into the draft with all 4 quadrants of his body already injured in college. So he's not the healthiest quarterback that they have. And so possibly they have Kirk still there as a solid backup should Penix go down. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Kirk just sits down. Like, you got your money. Shut up. Like, you're done. Like, that they told him that. Like, you got all the guaranteed money you wanted. That's what you said you wanted. So you got it. Now you just play by our rules. We're not going to trade you because you're right. If Penix goes down, they need to have a backup thing. Like, we look at a lot of these teams that are looking for quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins is not a bad option to keep on your bench.
I mean, but he's almost 40 and he wants to play because let's be clear,
Aaron Rodgers, he's over 40.
No, screw Aaron Rodgers. He is such a pansy. He doesn't even have a great personality to even be a team player. This could be Kirk Cousins' last hurrah. And you know he's got to be emotionally vested at this point. He's got family here in Atlanta. I didn't even know that. His in-laws live here. He has his mother and father-in-law live here. His wife's got family out here. He moved to Atlanta thinking this was going to be his last stop before retirement. And let's be clear, just like we all hate, getting a little older, we love being here for the blessing of it, but nobody wants to look at your life as a twilight of what it was. Kirk Cousins wants to have a little bit of time to show that he can be who he is. And he told the Falcons at the end, guess what, guys? You signed me. I've been hurt all this time. And I gave my best. And they're giving him basically the deuces and sit down in the corner.
Well, he stole money. I don't feel sorry for him.
No, he didn't steal money. His agent got him that money. That's Atlanta's stupid.
He's a real
behind
MVP.
For paying him.
His agent is getting inducted.
Second of all, let's make this true. He doesn't have a contract. He don't. They paid him all the money. He's got everything up front.
They don't got to do nothing. They can sit on their hands.
Wait. However, contractual obligation states that he was going to be a starting quarterback. It is not. Okay, then. So he should be a starting quarterback. If he wants to be a starting quarterback somewhere, he should go somewhere and be a starting back. It's not his fault they paid him all that money up front. He was just a benefactor of it.
Why would
Stop
they
blaming Kirk Cousins for that kind of stuff. Because Atlanta's
Kirk
dumb.
Cousins
Atlanta is dumb. Atlanta
his agent
is dumb.
is a bank robber. His agent is a bank robber.
His agent is getting inducted into Canton's Hall of Fame this summer for the MVP.
Sure. When he was in Minnesota, he was the first quarterback to get paid a fully guaranteed contract.
Exactly. And who asked for that stuff? The quarterback.
Dang, I need to know who his agent is so he can negotiate some stuff for me.
That's okay. He can ask for what he wants, but it's the agent negotiation with the team. The team's got the right way to do that. So the agent, like I said, the agent's the Hall of Famer.
I wish Kevin was on this show.
They also told him he was going to start.
I wish Kevin was on this show tonight because last year, Kevin with the flat tire, I know that tire is fixed by now. You can chime in, brother. He swore out, and a lot of people got on the Falcons bandwagon. Oh, they're going to definitely dominate the South, and they're probably Super Bowl contenders. And I need to run the clips because I bring receipts. And I was like, yeah, I'm not too sold on that with the Falcons. They got a lot of other issues going on. They are missing way more than a quarterback. And they didn't play Bijan Robinson like they should have played when Arthur Smith was down there. Yeah. But they're going. And now look at what they did. Look at how they crap the bed. The buzzards. That's what they are.
Let's be honest. If he doesn't rupture his Achilles, they probably don't draft Michael Penix. And he probably is still the starting quarterback for the Falcons. But once you have an Achilles injury at that age, that's it. Yeah. Your career is
Aaron Rodgers got it. Speaking of,
and he's toast.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pivot to that. Congratulations, Joe Flacco. Pat McAfee, you are a human shish kebab from the pits of HE double hockey stick. You went on live Wednesday night at 8:30. Secured this whole arena in Pittsburgh. Brought out Ben Roethlisberger. Snoop Dogg performed, and Snoop is a big Steelers fan. You brought out the Pittsburgh Pirate pitchers out there. Brought out Jelly Roll, a lot of sumo wrestlers. Gave out $2 million to a lucky fan in the lower
Eagle
level.
Fan.
An Eagle fan, and had on a jersey of all things. And it was just totally random because he was doing like Plinko, like Price is Right. Like he couldn't control where it went. Gave all this out, and everybody was sitting there with their breath held like, okay, this is clearly the Aaron Rodgers, announcement. Why else would you sit there and do a whole 4-hour production, had a whole concert? They started it with the national anthem being performed.
More wrestling.
I'm like, this is the worst clicks and likes in history, guys.
Yeah,
did any of you guys think? Nate, you and I were talking actively in the chat. I know JTRAIN, we kept it going so long, everybody probably was in bed at some point and had their notifications off. Did any of y'all, other than me and Nate, think? Because Nate was like, oh, they probably going to get Rodgers to throw the pitch. I'm like, you're right, Nate.
I thought so, yeah. It would have been perfect to pull him out.
Did anybody else think that Rodgers was coming out?
Damn chat, too. Come on now.
Did you think he was coming out? Yeah, you were, Strilla. I'm sorry, but you weren't sold. You weren't really sold, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, this is a ploy, and I got Pat McAfee lovers out there that were like, "Oh, nobody said that Aaron Rodgers it wasn't definite, it wasn't this, and it wasn't that." Let me tell you something. You put a show on during a time when Pittsburgh Steelers need a quarterback. Yep. Your boy is Aaron Rodgers. Yep. You throw a party in Pittsburgh. It's in Pittsburgh
at night. He don't even be having a show at night.
Yeah, and you don't have a show at night, and then all of a sudden, but you don't want anybody to speculate.
80,000 people were watching.
You're creating the speculation.
87,000 people were watching that live stream. 87,000.
You know what this tells me? This tells me that if Pat McAfee doesn't even know what Aaron Rodgers is doing, and that's considered his boy, even though they have a little disconnect lately. You talked about that with the Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays and how he kind of dipped. I think Aaron Rodgers is considering retirement. I really do think that he's thinking about hanging it up because he went to the darkness retreat. Apparently he's in the darkness retreat right now. Don't come out.
Yeah, McAfee said he's at some yoga retreat right now. JTRAIN, did you think this was the big announcement that we were waiting for?
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even paying attention until you guys brought it up, and I was like, okay, and I was just like,
He was a
I
smart
just rolled
one. He
my
was a
eyes,
smart
like,
one.
please, I don't even care. When you guys said, like, I read it later, I just went to bed. I wasn't even gonna watch that.
So on the big Sunday, on the big football show, Pags had came on a couple of weeks ago. JTRAIN, I think you were on that show with us. I know one Sunday you were out, but I think you were there. And Pags was like, hey, April 9th is going to be a big announcement. You know, Pags is the Philly sports guy, so he's pretty connected with people in the industry and in sports arena and stuff. People know him. And usually when he says stuff, there's usually, you know, some truth to it. And so April 9th was my uncle's birthday. My uncle actually was good friends with Joe Gillum. They went to high school together. And so he was a Pittsburgh fan, just like he was, you know, Panthers fan later on. So I was like, wow, how prophetic that Aaron Rodgers is getting announced to the team on this day. So I didn't want to watch, but it just kept feeling like it was building up to that. Why would you bring Ben Roethlisberger out there? Big Ben. Why would you bring 4 of the Pittsburgh Pirates players out there? Why would you have Snoop Dogg, who is one of the biggest Pittsburgh Steelers fans in the industry, to come all the way from LA to perform? Mm-hmm. What you say, Strilla?
I said they got 3 of the hockey players out there too.
Yeah. That's right.
Tan.
You know what it might have been, Sonja? It might have been what you guys thought it was going to be, and he backed out at the last minute.
That's
a possibility.
That's
he walked into the dark of the tree and said, I'm good with this. I'm good.
Dang. Because he said he talked to Rodgers on the phone and he was at some yoga retreat. So
he also made a comment. He also made a comment during the show. He was like, oh, he's not here. And he kind of said it with some kind of condescending manner. He's like, oh, he's not here. And
but I think he was expecting him to be there because remember, one of the baseball players was like, and we also got a big guest back time. He's like, no, not yet. Mm-hmm. So that right there made everybody think, okay, maybe he's backstage. He's going to be the last person that they throw this past.
They couldn't get Aaron Rodgers, so they got Jelly Roll.
What a diarrhea show. And people were saying maybe it was because he was trying to, allude to him having context with WWE. That is not that. This is exactly what he got. He used Aaron Rodgers, the smoke around that, to get up there and basically propel this for what it is, and he made the money. That $2 million he made was chump change because he got paid just from everybody being on there. Pat McAfee, and he was geeked up too. I mean, he was talking about being sober, but he was walking around. Somebody had a Jack Daniels out there on the stage, and
he was smoking the sage.
Like, he was geeked up. So, I mean, so the mystery continues because Pittsburgh did not sign nobody. And I don't know. At this point, I don't think Aaron waits to after the draft to come out because the smoke has already just been going so long. It's just like, whatever. And by the way, Robbie talks about Wiz Khalifa. Let me point something out. Somebody pointed out in the industry, Wiz Khalifa is not even a Steelers fan. That song Black and Yellow has nothing to do with Pittsburgh. It's something else. So he just made it into their song. Yeah, it's something we're not going to really like put it out there on air because it's illegal. But he's not even from Pittsburgh.
Hey, Robbie, I hate to do this to you, brother, but you know who's whack? The Steelers organization right now. They're letting Rodgers hold them hands ransom for he shouldn't be. They shouldn't be doing that.
Somebody else.
They shouldn't be that.
Tomlin is not. Now that that's happened, Tomlin is not going to allow that train wreck to come to his organization. So, that's just how we look at it. The verdict's still out on that, and we're just sitting here. We're just fans. At the end of the day, mock drafts are just what they are, mocks.
I wouldn't say that Tomlin wanted him to be there. But the point of the matter is, it's just, why are you letting this man hold you hostage for this time while he goes on his darkness retreat, it's yoga, whatever the hell he's going to. I don't understand that. Don't let this dude, okay, he was a good quarterback. He'll be a Hall of Fame quarterback. However, in his last 3 years as being a quarterback, he's stunk. Okay? Mm-hmm. He hit his bottom right now.
Just do us all favor and stay there.
Right. Stay in your darkness retreat, dude. And Pittsburgh, stop letting people hold you hostage for a quarterback. Come on. You could have got Joe Flacco and drafted somebody in the draft And then that way that person could come up behind Flacco. Flacco don't care. You pay him, he'll be a third string quarterback. He don't care. He wants to help people. He likes to teach other quarterbacks, and that's the reason why Cleveland got him. Maybe he could teach Littlefinger's Pickett to throw or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just Joe Flacco would have been perfect for them.
He would have been perfect. We're gonna have to, the verdict is still out. We'll have to keep you guys posted on that. Unfortunately, our time is up. It is the top of the hour. We thank everybody for the likes, loves, comments, shares, and everything. We will re-air this broadcast if you got on a little late at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. JTRAIN and I will be live in the morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with Jack Hirsch. We'll be doing the Saturday debate show, topic show. BSTRILLA and Nate have their NFC East show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 1A Cheek 3 Toes podcast. And so just stay tuned for all the network, for everything likes, loves, and all the good news that's going down in all sports. We wish everybody a great weekend, and thank you so much, and good night.
Hello.